Do you see now, having seen the kind of explosion of event tech really is kind of coming to its own here, are you seeing anything that maybe people didn't predict that it will do? Like any like extra advantages or things that it may unlock or make it easier for people to unlock in events that maybe event marketers should be looking out for or thinking about?
I mean, nothing we haven't kind of already hit on. I
Mhm.
honestly think event ROI, ROE, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it, is kind
huge.
of the golden piece
Yeah,
that came out of the pandemic. When we were forced to be online and forced to do everything virtually, we also were forced to realize how much data we could capture. And the fact that that's now translated into in-person events and now it's, integrating into the CRM, and now we can actually take real data from events combined with real sales pipeline data and figure out
yeah,
how impactful events are. Like, who would have thought that we'd be here
yeah.
10 years ago? We weren't here.
I think you're right. I think you're right in the sense that like that is it's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I think there's a lot of areas in the events industry and different sectors that have to be trying to tackle it, right? No one software is going to do it, but different types of softwares, whether they're for large events, whether they're for exhibitors, whether they're for lead capture, companies like myself helping exhibitors and people running events be more strategic, develop KPIs, right? The companies that are actually in events just forcing themselves to put in the work to go get ROI, go measure things, and go understand, are we hitting our company initiatives and are we pushing things forward? It's going to take a whole movement from kind of the whole industry and everybody involved to start saying, like, everyone needs to kick in a little bit here on how does this work. Even the organizers, I mean, the organizers, the GCs, everybody has to be trying to provide solutions, making things easier for
Absolutely.
people
Yeah.
doing events.
And once all of this is in place, it frees up time to be more strategic and be thinking about what that next thing is. Right now we are inundated with manual tasks. We are inundated with trying to figure out how do we make sure that we can get this budget approved for this event next year. Instead of wasting time on that stuff, we can now be more strategic about our work because we have the time to do it.
Yeah. And I think the more that I've talked about this with people, not just event tech and all that stuff, but essentially ROI and proving the worth of the program, or proving, proof of event, is the
Right.
more important I think it is, because there's also a lot of hidden value in events. It's not always an ROI type of answer where like you spit out a number and you're like, see, I told, it's not exactly that, but the more information that can come from softwares and everybody that's pushing this agenda, I think the better events will be, and the more of a story people will be able to tell moving forward about how these events drive value, move company initiative, are a strategy for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. And just being able to
Yeah.
quantify things. To your point, there are things that we never thought were quantifiable in the past.
Mhm.
I listened to your podcast with Chloe Richardson from
Yep.
Explory, and they're making great strides and quantifying the softer metrics,
Yes.
at an event that,
Yep.
it's not necessarily the clicks and the sign-ins and the session attendance. It's more about, the behaviors, the feelings of people at the
Yeah.
event, and just being able to put a number to that
Yeah.
and use that number to help figure out if you're being successful or not, or what things to change from one event to the next. You can't get better than data-driven strategy.
Yep. I agree. No, Explorer's doing some really good work. I had Chloe on. I'm going to have her CEO, Mark Brewster, on,
Oh, yeah?
talk a little bit about Maxby, but not really Maxby because it's their product, but really talk more about the overarching problem of ROI and everything that we've been discussing, of like, where does this have to go for events? And it really is such a deeper conversation, in the sense that it's not like, hey, we spent $100,000 and, oh, we got this, right? Or, hey, we spent 1 million and, oh, we got this. It's, you dive into sales cycles, you dive into what do you consider brand awareness, you dial into, can you accelerate pipeline? Can you
Right.
add in net new leads? Can you close jobs faster? I mean, I can go on forever of all the things that happen at events, and how do you put all that in the pot and stir it up and then say, oh, look, like, and then give progress reports on it, right? Because I mean, what if your sales cycle
Exactly.
is 8 to 24 months, right? I mean, it's going to take time. It's not like you run a set of
Yeah.
Google ads. Yeah, it's just different. So
Yeah.
it's
It's just
very cool.
mind blowing what a different place we're in now.
Yeah.
Because when I entered the event industry, I never, I didn't think about stuff like this.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of us did. If you did, you were way ahead of the curve. But
Yeah.
now you can't ignore it. And it's going to make you more successful. It's going to make you
Yeah.
smarter. It's going to make you more strategic, and it's going to help you grow in your career.
Yeah.
It's just it's a blessing that this
Yeah.
happened. It's the silver lining of the pandemic that it really pushed events into prominence and finally forced people to realize how valuable they were.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're lucky people to be in this industry, to be honest.
Sure. It sure is. And the more people I get to talk to like yourself, just the enthusiasm I hear, in your voice of what you're talking about and saying is like, I tend to hear that all over the place. I try to tell people that about events that like, especially if I talk to young people, I'm always like, events is such a good industry. It really is. It's fun. It's strategic. It's challenging. It's, logistically challenging. It's got a lot of, it's just a good industry to be in. And I think that there's just a lot of passionate people. So I'm seeing that kind of more and more.